What is it you are playing for? What does it come with?
Fixins. You know what I'm talking about?
Complete set. Everything you need.
We're gonna have so many fucking fixins up in this motherfucker.
I did war with all the Fixins!
Welcome back to another episode of Survivor with all the Fixins. I am your host, Max Dawson. With me, as always, my co-host, Corinne Kaplan.
Hi.
How are you?
Holler. I'm good.
And also with us tonight, a new member of the Survivor ATF team, Mr. Wet Blanket himself, Tyler Frederickson.
I couldn't be more happy to be here.
Just sit there and look pretty.
Okay, thank you, Tyler. That's enough out of you. Corinne, anything new since we last spoke last week? Any new developments?
Well, so we've all been asked to sit in the audience for The Price is Right.
Oh, that's fun.
Is it though? Because I actually really hate sitting in the audience. My parents actually produced a Broadway show once and they gave me tickets and I said, no, I'll meet you at the after party because I couldn't be bothered to sit through
Why
the show.
are you not more impressed?
Just dropping that your parents produced a Broadway show within the first minute of the episode.
I feel like
last week we found out you had 2 waterfalls in your swimming pool.
Three. My
Your
friend, 3.
Parents dropped you off. Oh no, that was something you told me in private.
You're an asshole.
You had a very expensive ventriloquist dummy.
I did. No, but it wasn't like they were minor producers and there was lots of them. But anyways, my point is my own parents put their like blood, sweat, and tears into a Broadway show. It was called Brooklyn. And I didn't go see it because I don't sit through shows. So imagine my dismay when I get this email about going to Price is Right. And I am really only going for one reason and one reason only. And that is to somehow at some point scream out, "The price is wrong, bitch." That's it.
So you don't like being a seat filler for CBS?
How dare you? I am on stage or I am not there at all.
Welcome to the Survivor Fans versus Favorite reunion show.
That's the question. Who is on stage? Because I certainly am not. And I know a lot of other survivors who will be in the audience.
I feel like I'm like Jack Donaghy from 30 Rock. Like I would guess the price of milk to be at, I don't know, $19. Like I literally have no idea. So I couldn't possibly do the show even if I was asked, but I have not been asked. I have just been asked to show up and put my ass in a seat.
Well, it'll be very exciting. We know that some survivors will be coming in from out of town. A member of my cast, Joey Amazing Anglin, will be here. That's exciting, right?
Yeah. We just, in private corners, we just call him Hot Joe.
Yeah, your face lit up when...
Hey, there is no point at which I will not accept a young, hot, as Peter would say, easily moldable, if you will.
Like clay.
Like clay.
The brain is still in the process of developing for you to manipulate.
Yeah, but real talk, I love Joe. We all love Joe. And we can't wait for him to get here.
Sierra from my season will be coming into town. I don't know if to play or just to watch.
She's going to be presenting, allegedly.
What? Are you serious?
Yeah.
No.
Well, I mean, come on. She's model-esque.
She's cuddleicious. But I had no idea. That's amazing. I just thought, Sierra is like, if Joe is there, you just go 1, 2, 3, and you look over there and Sierra is there. I just thought they like came as a package deal.
Well, in that case, where's Mike Holloway?
Geez, I don't know. Check Snapchat. You could probably find him screaming at a Dallas Stars hockey game or something like that.
If you don't know what that is, it's apparently on Snapchat, he just screams, Snapchat!
Yes,
like that's what that was, right?
That's like if on Twitter, I just tweeted Twitter over and over again.
And that is pretty much on par with the type of entertainment value Mike provides.
Yeah. Well, what else is going on? Anything on the dating tip?
Corinne, why aren't you married?
A lot of people want to know.
So that, by the way, if you couldn't hear, that's Corinne, why aren't you married? One of my best guy friends has a son named Jack who is just an assassin with the questions. And the truth is, I went on a very, here's the deal. I went up to a guy that I thought was super hot that I met. And I thought he was really hot. I walked over and I was like, hey, can I buy you a drink? Which I realize is not normally what girls do, but I do that. He was 6'5" and hot, so I did it.
Yeah.
And he said, no. And I was like, what? So I'm like, okay, cool, man. And he's like, I know you. And I was like, oh. And I said, and I did not go straight to what you're thinking. I said, how do we know each other? And he goes, do you hang out in Venice? And I was like, never. Absolutely never. And then he said, no, I know you. What's your name? And I said, Corinne. He goes, yeah, I know you. And I said, oh, and then here's where it gets bad.
Oh, boy.
I then flip my hair and go, oh, I did 2 seasons of Survivor. To which he's like, I've never seen an episode. Which is just that moment of panic where you're like, fuck. fuck. Like I threw that out and he sent it right back. So as it turned out, I had met him on Bumble and we had matched, and I never talked to him, and he sent me like 16 unresponded to texts on Bumble, and he just kind of thought I was a bitch. So that's where that came from. And we ended up getting along, and he's a nice guy. We're going to leave it at that.
Wow. That's not the exciting conclusion that I was hoping that you'd share with us. But let me ask you that. And I have two questions. One is, how many times do you meet guys who you've matched with on social media or dating apps and have completely dissed, and then find yourself kicking yourself for not going out with them?
That isn't really the issue. A lot of times I meet somebody and I'm like, oh, he's really cute. And then I like go to put his number in my phone and it's already in my phone. Because LA is a small place and I drink heavily, and I like hang out with somebody, exchange numbers, and then totally forget they exist and then rediscover them. It's like going through your old trash. Like when you're about to give things to Goodwill and you're like, oh my God, I love this shirt. What was I thinking?
Yeah.
That.
Because it's not the first time I feel like you've told me that you've met someone who you knew before.
Oh yeah, I re-meet people all the time. It's the fun part about having early onset Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
I just it's all new for me. But this was an extreme case, and this gentleman,
You're giddy.
I really liked him, and
Oh
it was
my
unfortunate.
God.
And I looked like such an ass. Like you'd never want to say that.
The second question I had is, how often do you get recognized? Because clearly you thought this guy was someone who'd seen you on television.
No, and I really don't get recognized. And if I do, it's always like at the gym with my hair pulled back in a ponytail, like looking gross. It's never when I'm like dolled up. I mean, it wouldn't be.
You do happen to work out in a very soiled power suit. So it's not, and a buff.
Yeah.
But did you get I mean, you were on the show quite a while before Tyler and I were. Still, and the show was being watched by more people. Were you getting recognized a lot when you were on the show?
Only in WeHo. As we all know, the gays are my key demographic.
Yep. God save the gay.
I am literally, nobody ever stops me. But if I set one foot into any bar in the West Hollywood area, oh, everyone's trying to buy me a drink. It's the greatest thing ever. Like if I ever have low self-esteem, I just go to West Hollywood.
Well, that's great. Maybe we can get some of those people to listen to the podcast too.
We should just advertise down there, like flyers.
Next to the bus station ads for STD testing, we could put, and Survivor with all the Fixins.
Yeah.
Our 15 minutes is clearly over, right, Tyler? I mean, our season, neither of us were huge characters. We're not returning players like Corinne. I still, however, though, get a lot of instances where I see someone look at me and have that dawning recognition.
I was just going to say, you have a very, very clear look. And I
have a look, definitely.
You do.
And the problem is, more often than not, people have that dawning recognition, come up to me, and I think they're about to say, "Are you Max from Survivor?" And instead they say, "Cool beard, bro," or "I like your beard." And it's just like you being recognized by the denizens of WeHo. It's very often someone who probably lives in WeHo and never anything about the show.
Yeah. I mean,
I feel like such a dope, though, when I see that recognition and I'm like, Survivor fan? No. Guy hitting on me. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough break, man.
Yeah, I mean, just they're my demographic, too.
Yeah.
We got to work on that.
I know. Well, I'm like the Lady Gaga of Survivor, and I'm fine with that. I'm cool with my demographic. I don't care if nobody else, especially like the pudgy Midwestern overweight, I live in my mom's basement people. You don't have to remember me at all, and you never have to come up to me, because as I have said, and I feel like you might have this clip, I am an elitist bitch. Please don't approach me.
I'm an elitist bitch. Please don't approach me.
And I stand by that commentary.
What else is going on? We want to reiterate that we are running a contest, Survivor Crashers, where Corinne and I will come to your home, drink your booze, insult your taste in interior fashion and decor, and watch the show with you.
Right. And, I will freely judge your relationship. If you want to show me photos of whoever you're dating, or if you want to show me your dating profile, I mean, we're there to judge.
Your children.
Judging is my hobby.
Relatives with like weird physical features or something, they will get called out.
If your clothing isn't really that good, it
makes it more fun for us.
Yeah, I mean, if you're wearing an Aubrey smock, I mean. By
the way, Aubrey smock, I discovered last night, I have a pair of underwear with the same exact print as the Aubrey smock, and I was going to wear them on second chances if I got on. I don't know how I feel about that now. I don't know if I can wear that pair of underwear again. I feel like I'm wearing the Aubrey smock.
I mean, we're gonna touch on Aubrey later because there's a couple smocks in rotation, and
how many smocks does she have?
She's a smock of seagulls. I don't
feel
know.
like there are people on this season who have way more number of outfits. Than
I
they
agree.
should.
I don't know where the outfits keep coming from.
You shouldn't have a new outfit in episode 3.
Never.
It's very strange. So remember, get your entries in. We have not set a deadline because we're like that. We're thinking sometime in April we'll come to your house. But you can get those entries in. You can tweet them at us. We're using the hashtag SurvivorATF. Tweet at FY Maxwell or Corinne Sanity. Tweet us with a 1 minute or less video showing your house, you, the place where you intend to rape us.
Yeah.
And let us know why you think we should crash your party. Now, we are
and how
not,
much lube you have on hand.
Exactly. We are not limiting this to the Los Angeles area. You can enter from anywhere, but you're not going to win. But
You don't know that. I mean, look, if you enter from Necker Island, Richard Branson's private island, I could find a way out there.
Well, we'll find a way if it's worthwhile. But if you're like, I live in Des Moines and it's a duplex and I have
you wouldn't
my
have passed
own
the
room.
video test if you lived there anyway. Sorry, Des Moines.
No, if you don't think that we'll come out to see you, but you still want us to judge you, send that video in. We will talk about it on the air. We are going to spend a segment in a future episode just talking about all of the people who've entered the contest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so have at it, man. Let's see what you got.
Definitely. Okay, should we get into the episode?
Yeah, we should. Let's get it going.
This is Rodney, a.k.a. Boston Hot Rod, and on having Rodney time, I like to get cool, calm, and collected 3C with Max, Beard, and Corinne on Survivor with all the shit.
So the episode opens, brings us back to the Broad Camp. We're spending a lot of time at the Broad Camp. We're spending a lot of time with our friend Alecia.
Scott has to explain why he wrote down Alicia's name, right? So he tells her, yes. He says, I wrote your name down because I wanted to keep my promise to Jenny, which we can all agree is really very poor gameplay.
Or as
Jenny's
Alecia,
not on the jury.
Or as Alecia puts it,
that's the stupidest thing I think I've ever heard.
Why are you trying to curry favor with someone who's on vacation in Vietnam?
I don't understand this. And then he's got to he's now backpedaling, and you're backpedaling with somebody who it's hard to play with because she's mildly retarded. So he tells her why he did it, and then she just goes, but I don't understand why you did it. And then he said, I just told you. And you see him just like, what am I supposed to do now?
Now, there is something that I noticed about Alecia because Tyler suggested we should look into some of the things that Alecia has claimed, some of her claims to fame. And of course, the major claim to fame she has is she has a great Tinder profile.
I've been with 3 giant uncaged tigers in Thailand.
So in looking into that, I noticed something very distinct about her speech pattern. There's something that she says a lot. And granted, not all of us are, trained in public speaking before we go on the show. And
none of us are.
Exactly.
Well, Scott Pollard is.
Scott Pollard is. Yes, he probably did some. He did some MBA.
From what I can tell, he
did
not use any of the training he received.
But Alecia, there's something that she does that just absolutely drove me mental, and I want to hear what you guys think. This was from her Meet Alecia video, and I probably would have picked up on this if I watched any of these before the season. You watched these, right?
Yes, I did. Cast bios?
The cast bio videos, yeah. Okay, this is something that Alecia says a lot.
Not the end of the day, because at the end of the day, this is not the end of the day.
Oh my God,
at the end of the day, but at the end of the day, but at the end of the day, 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 at the end of the day,
Okay, I have to stop. You have to stop this. This is terrible.
That is in one 4-minute video.
Stop it. That's all from the same video? Oh my God, you're not playing it on repeat? No, do not play it again. I can't listen to it again. Stop it.
That is one. What is going on there? What does at the end of the day mean?
That she didn't have a filler to use for her sentence structure. Now I'm super hyper conscious that I don't ever use that.
Never, ever say
unless I'm talking about meeting you for sunset at the end of the day.
That's the only time when it's acceptable to say at the end of the day.
That's really irritating.
Oh, poor Scott. Poor Jason.
Yeah.
Poor Sydney, Storm, Rachel, Rebecca, whatever all their names.
Well, and the other thing is that she's the one that points out, being the genius that she is, that he is a millionaire NBA player that's played in the league for 10 years. Who's going to give him $1 million? Hey, brain trust. That's why you sit next to him at the end. Yeah. That's exactly why you bring him to the end.
It's a really incomprehensible logic to get out someone who can't get jury votes. But it's refreshing compared to what's going on the Brains camp, where Peter is already talking about, oh, I'm sitting next to Joe and Debbie at the end because neither of them have any chance of winning.
Yeah. He calls Debbie a brain with no game, which is just funny because she looks just like the Scarecrow from The Wizard of Oz to me. She's so... everything about her is just sort of alarming. Like her hair is like straw. Oh, this is her eating. Is that what I'm listening to?
It may be her eating or it may be a cow eating.
Same.
One or the other.
Same.
Debbie is starting... Well, let's just say that Debbie, she looks day 39 on day 9.
But you know what? I got news for you. She's like not her personality at all, but her entire look is Bob Crawley. Bob only lost in 39 days 1 pound.
What?
His body self-regulates, and I feel like she's got the same metabolism thing.
But he came into the game at like 78
That's right.
pounds to
That's right.
begin
He
with.
did.
Wow. She's looking like she's been out there for a long time.
Yeah, she looks like she just escaped a mental institution.
And she's really starting to... She's really entertaining herself. Her grasp on her sanity seems to be
it's slipping.
Really rapidly slipping.
It's I can't feel my family, Kathy.
Wait, what day is that? Day 18?
19.
Day 19. She's on day 9. She's
I think,
on
or
day
18.
7, 8, 9, and she's already not feeling her
No,
family.
she's not feeling her
Well, she doesn't
family.
have
Well,
a family. Yeah, she's not feeling her cats.
Boston Terriers or something.
Hold on. There's a...
Red Lobster for the seafood lover in you.
I'm sorry. I've been waiting to do that all week.
She's missing her shifts at Red Lobster.
Well, and we know now why she has to work at Red Lobster. It's because clearly she's
unemployable.
Well, I was going to say no longer allowed to go anywhere near a water treatment testing facility. Or
I don't know if she's allowed to buy Evian. She's banned, man.
Water.
So then we get to the Thai Idol situation.
Let's talk about the Thai Idol situation. There is one person out there who is not on Team Thai and decidedly not on Team Thai.
There is. So I asked before, we're going to get into this, but I asked Randy to please choose a ranting of his, dealer's choice. Rant on whatever you want. So originally I was like, hey, leave. He was like, I like the voicemail idea because I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to banter. I want to be able to record it myself. So I was like, hey, we set up, we now have a voicemail you can call into. So it's, tell me,
607 AT Fixin, Fixin.
So I give him this information and he's like, yeah, no. I don't want to use your voicemail line. Because
Randy.
why would Randy make it easy for me?
Why make it easy?
No, so he's like, I would like to record it, just in case I need to redo it, blah, blah. Fine. So he records his rant this week because even though America loves Thai, I think Randy brings up a great point. His rant this week is about Thai, so I think we should play it now.
Let's have a listen. Randy?
First, saved message.
Max, Corinne, hey, what's going on? This is Randy. So what should I talk about today? I'm guessing I'm going to pick Tai Trang. The reason I'm going to pick Tai Trang is I hate him. Everybody in America loves him, and I'm sure they'll hold it against me for hating him, but it's not so much that I hate him, it's I hate the recipients of golden edits. This guy can do nothing wrong, and in actuality, I'm sure he's annoying, 3/4 of his tribe, but they're not showing that. My guess he goes pretty early in the next 2 or 3 episodes, but they're going to continue to show him in, to be likable and lovable. And I'm sick of the golden edit. Corinne, Max, and myself, the 3 of us got horrible edits. Corinne, you were the bitch. I was the asshole. And Max, you were the wart boy. So anyway, I am against Tai Trang. I am anti-Tai Trang. And I look forward to him going down in flames. Now, have a nice day.
So that's Randy for you. And I couldn't be more thankful that he calls in and rants because I miss that about living with him.
Living with him?
Well, in Gabon, I lived with him.
Oh, I thought you meant you lived with him like off the island, like I lived with Vince that one time.
No.
Well, what do we think? He suggests Ty's going home. Ty's got an idol. Ty seems to be in a relatively okay position in his tribe, even though he's spending a lot of time off on his own looking for that idol. He doesn't have any open conflict, whereas someone like, for example, Nick
douche
has a lot of conflict going on, at least with Anna, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, I really didn't appreciate, the running commentary he does. It is so ridiculous. I don't understand why he's narrating his own tale here. It's horrible.
Okay, let's just have a listen. I know this is just going to drive you up a wall because, of course, Ty has become a running theme in our podcast. Of course, last week I got into a little trouble by being a little too into playing some of the Ty sex sounds, but that came from his running narration. So Ty again this week goes for his idol hunt, and it's like he's doing it's like he's doing a demonstration of on PBS in this old house or something like that.
It's like he's standing at Costco, like running the booth where he's telling you about these amazing Ginju knives. Is that what they're called?
Ginzu. Yes.
Yeah, that's what he's got like a headset on and he's talking to an entire audience.
It's also kind of like, does your Nana do this? If you have one alive, read every menu item out loud. Smoked salmon.
Ooh, that sounds
like
nice.
Smoked salmon, don't you?
I just felt like
chicken salad.
It's not community theater, dude. Like, I don't know what you're doing.
Okay, here's Ty looking for the idol.
I need to get a stick, attach the tool, and poke the tool through the canister to push the key out. No, don't tell me. Where's the tool? This is so stupid. Don't tell me I left it somewhere else. Somehow I lost the tool. I was so mad at myself. Nothing in my life come easy, including this idol. I see you. Peekaboo. My whole life is full of challenges. In Vietnam, refugee camp, coming to America, reinventing myself, and this is another big challenge.
And yet he gets fewer subtitles
so I have to make myself
than
another tool
Keith
for
Hale.
mistake.
Or James the Gravedigger.
Buddy, it's gonna happen to me. Please, come home with me. We belong together.
Brutal. This is just brutal.
But this is what Randy's reacting to, the triumphant music.
There,
yeah.
Go in there, baby.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Oh my God. Thank you.
It's not just that he narrates everything. He narrates everything as if he's having sex.
Yeah.
Go in there, baby. Yes.
Yeah. I have a problem with all of this. And you didn't even get to he said, then this is the part that it is in bold, like in my mind. He says, I'm going to wear it for a little bit. For whom? What? Like, you didn't already get enough camera time. I mean, let me tell you something. I will get to this at the end, but like a tribal, they don't even read out all the votes anymore because they've run out of time completely. They don't read tree mail anymore because he's sucking up all the motherfucking time with his narration. I hate him as much as Randy does. We're two peas in a pod here.
Really?
Yeah, I do. Not like, I like him, but I agree with Randy that he's getting the sweetheart edit. And I find people who are that interested in themselves and getting camera time and like putting on a performance. This is supposed to be shot documentary style. This is supposed to be an organic experience that you guys are sort of watching us do. There's no point at which you should be modeling the fucking necklace.
Oh, that was way harsh, Ty.
I wonder because there's something that makes me think that Ty has never seen Survivor before, and then there's something that makes me think he's an evil genius, super savvy, that he's found a way to monopolize the attention of the entire production.
Yeah, no,
he's
pageanting. Yeah,
I think I'm going to disagree with. I kind of like it though.
I don't.
I enjoy it. He's so endearing. He's so different. He's so unusual. He cries when they kill the chicken.
Okay, well, that is bizarro, and we'll get to that. But this particular part where he's talking is just no bueno.
So let's talk about the idol, though. Let's talk specifically about how they find it and the stick and the other stick.
Tyler actually pointed this out, which I thought was brilliant. He's a gardener, and all he does is depend on his tools, and yet he lost the tool he needed to get this. In addition to which, the 17 steps it takes to get this freaking idol, at this point, I'm honestly telling you, if I was in the position, I would probably look at that and go, okay, I can't do it. I'm going to get rid of all evidence that this ever existed, and then I'll know where it is forever and ever, and no one else will get it, and then I just know no one has it, and like that's it.
Yeah, well,
like
that
I'd leave it
knowledge
at that.
In and of itself is a form of power.
Right. Because I don't know what my likelihood. I didn't even understand. Did they get string to tie those bamboo sticks together? And like the other tribe, what happened with them, which we'll get to, is much more likely than you being able to do that by yourself without the tool. Like even in the best of circumstances, how you tying sticks together where you get in the sticks. You guys, the sticks. We are using every available stick for fire. There aren't like these glorious, amazing poles just lying around for you to tie together and get up there, right?
Yeah, I mean. The Ty actually demonstrated that he'll be great if they do the jailbreak challenge. We have to tie the sticks together to get the key off the thing.
Where did he get the ties from?
I have no idea.
I don't understand. It didn't come, as far as I could tell, it didn't come with anything. There was one tie around the scroll tree mail thing, but you need way more than one.
We keep saying tie. It's like tie it up, tie this, tie that.
It's all part of his branding and it's intentional, and he's an evil genius.
He loses the tool. How does he lose the tool?
The both of them did. Nobody's got the tool.
Yeah.
This is the most well camouflaged tool that is the only thing you ever need. And by the way, I'm sure it was useful for other things. If you had kept the tool, right? I mean, you have nothing. Just for viewers, you get a machete and you get canteens, and their canteens look like lamps.
What are they?
I don't know. Those weird toilet paper roll,
4 foot long bamboo canisters.
Literally. So they have nothing. I don't know what kind of widget they were getting, because none of us have seen it, because it doesn't exist, because no one has been able to hold on to this hot potato of a tool. But yeah, how dare you? By the way, how dare you? How inept are you?
While we're on the subject of tools, over at Braun, when they're looking for the idol, Sydney and Alecia come back to camp and are looking for the hoe.
Yeah, that was my favorite. There's no way in their lifetime they've ever used the word hoe and actually meant a gardening tool.
And I wish I had a sound drop for that right here. It was almost indistinguishable, undecipherable what they were saying. They kept saying it, but it was muffled. They're talking about the hoe.
Pimps up, hoes down, man.
Ty's talking about the tool. I can't help but thinking they're talking about Alecia and Beast Mode Cowboy. Like, if I could just find the tool, get the tool, and let's get up the fucking tree. Find the hoe, and let's get the thing out of the tree. At a certain point, I just think that Sydney had her coming out party this episode, showing a little bit of fire and a little bit of personality that we haven't seen yet. I thought she was going to turn to the camera and say, yeah, we need the hoe, and point at Alecia or something like that.
Listen, the world is full of tools and hoes, but I'm just talking about the ones I know.
Yeah.
So I loved that when they panned to Joe in his camp, he's doing flutters and obliques, and everyone's got something to say about it. I got news for you, everyone. I did crunches my season with Charlie Herschel because we were like, well, hell, I mean, let's keep up our regimen, right? Now, and like, it'd be one thing if you watched Philip doing that. Like, when I watch like Coach doing yoga, I'm like, look, your body looks like you shove toothpaste back into a tube. So when you look like Joe, you get to do whatever you want. Like, I don't care how many calories you're burning. You know what's up. I see what you look like, and I'm gonna follow your lead. In fact, instead of doing yoga, I would have sat there and done crunches next to him.
Does the fact that Joe goes along with Debbie in any way dampen, or actually I should say dry, your enthusiasm for him?
I don't think he does go along with her. I think he has no choice, and he's a smart guy, and he's got the patience of, patience I will never know.
Of an FBI hostage negotiator.
Yeah. Cool. Yes, actually. So like when you're the guy that could have been at Waco, Texas, listening to Achy Breaky Heart for 5 days straight, I feel strongly that you can deal with Debbie, and you know better than to bite the hand that feeds you. Like, that's all he's got. Everyone's kind of isolated him. I don't know why.
I see them as one of those couples where the wife is a little crazy. She drinks too much Chardonnay and starts yelling really loud in the husband.
We need to move with a purpose, Joe.
It's time to leave for to the restaurant.
Yes.
We need to move with a purpose, Joe.
And the guy fought in Vietnam, and was like a
she's
like a real American hero, like a straight up dude, but he's got this crazy fucking wife who's just loony and like handfuls of pills and wine and screaming. It's I just see this guy. I feel so bad for him.
My grandma Mary used to yell at my pop-up Stan, and she used to say when he was eating, she would say, "A train stops too, Stan." Like, she wouldn't say anything like cordial about it, like, hey, maybe like you have diabetes, maybe let up. She would say, "A train stops too, Stan." And I feel like that's the sweetness with which Debbie speaks to Joe.
There's one line that Debbie said, though, that was just so perfect.
Nobody really pays attention to me.
Yeah, it's true. At least she realizes.
But you know what? You can't keep a bad bitch down. Ain't nobody paying attention to her, but she can't stop trying to get attention.
We will get to that. We were actually still in the middle of talking. We were talking about the 8:30 a.m. core yoga class taking place on Brains Tribe, being led by Joe. And we want to talk a little bit about, I would imagine, the brewing tension between Debbie and Peter and Liz.
Yeah, that was kind of a shock to me that they came out so hard. Like, obviously, Liz goes home this episode, so they have to build that story arc. But previous to this, we were looking at maybe the 4 youngins going against the 2 older. And somehow, somewhere, that broke. And now Debbie is running the show. And she's, giving confessionals where she says, Peter really feels superior and she doesn't like that. And I just felt like haters gonna hate. Like, Peter's hot and smart and a doctor and
Obama and
looks like Obama.
This is the thing.
I'm gonna go on a limb and say she did not vote Obama then.
Probably. Well, can you vote if you're a felon?
They should take away their rights.
I think that she doesn't get to vote anymore. The question I have is, did Debbie have a boss or something who was smarter than her, more attractive than her,
possibly
more competent than her, who told her what to do? Like, for example, don't falsify the water documents. Okay. She seems to have this resentment against Peter. And granted, Peter did make some comments later on, especially at tribal council, when he thought he was going home, that made him seem a little douchey. But up till then, we haven't really seen anything to suggest anything other than the fact that he's a tall, smart, incredibly physically fit, hot ER doctor who's more competent than most of the other people out there.
Yeah, who works hard in challenges, works hard around camp. I'm going to give you the best comparison ever that you will ever hear to this day about Debbie, because it's phenomenal, if I do say so myself.
Okay.
She reminds me of Eileen Wuornos, the serial killer who hated men. Yeah. Who went after these guys, and she had this, she was affected early in childhood, and then forevermore she just murdered dudes that would pick her up when she was hoeing.
Yeah.
And I feel like Debbie is my Eileen Wuornos.
Portrayed by Charlize Theron.
That's right.
And the film Monster.
Yeah,
there's just something so strange to me about the hard-on she has for Peter. Peter, on the other hand, is identifying Debbie and Joe as a power goat couple.
That's the worst. So he actually, previous episode, he says, I'd like to take Debbie. And he says in the beginning of this one, she's a brain with no game. Like, oh God, you have no idea what's going on.
The other development over at Brains Tribe is that there has clearly been some sort of rift between Aubrey and Neil and Peter and Liz.
Yeah, that's right.
We don't know.
We don't know.
Happened.
Nobody there's not enough time because Ty spends the entire episode finding a goddamn idol.
Exactly.
We have no time at all to hear what happened between the 4 of them.
Speaking of Ty has quite the reaction when it's time to kill the chicken.
And I have to tell you, when you're on the show, there is something to be said for guarding your emotions. Like, if you feel really strongly like that, walk away, or please don't insinuate that you're going to let the chicken go or you're not going to kill the chicken. Like, you're starving, you need to win challenges. I found that really irritating. I'm sure everyone did. And the sobbing that went on, it really reminded me. So I would like to share a story that did not air my season because PETA would have had a heart attack. In my season, we won fishing gear, which, for those of you who don't know, doesn't work and you don't catch anything. So we put out these nets, and Bob Crawley, who, if anyone could catch anything, he could. Bob Crawley puts out these nets, and in the morning we wake up and the net is really heavy and we're just so excited, and we go and we get the net and there is a massive sea turtle. Like, I'm talking, I don't know, what's a good, the size of a 5-year-old kid.
The size of Rodney.
Yeah, it's huge.
That's huge.
So we get this turtle and everyone's like, well, shit, what do we do? What do we do? So, we're all like, there's 50 pounds of meat in this. Like, we're going to kill it. So everyone sort of is like, I don't know. So Dan's like, well, I'll kill it. So I'm like, look, I have no problem killing it. So Dan starts to kill it, and then he can't get the job done.
And we know Dan has some childhood issues to work out. So he sees the turtle as the kid who called him fat.
He starts to kill it, and then he just craps out, and he's like, So I don't know how to kill a turtle, obviously. And the thing is, put its head back in its shell. This is why PETA couldn't air it. So now I just take the steak and I try to asphyxiate it. So I shove it down the hole where its head should be.
I do not fish.
I do not fish. That is correct. So I shove it down its throat, and now the thing is crawling. Its arms and its legs are scrambling, and that's Dan's reaction. So Marcus is helping me, and we're like, oh shit. So I go, I don't know, let's throw it on the fire, because now it's burn and asphyxiated simultaneously. Now it is crawling for its life on top of the fire while it's being asphyxiated. Obviously none of this could air. Fine, we cooked the whole thing. Now Dan is literally throwing up in a corner. He can't take it. So we end up now, the thing gets cooked for 8 hours and it still smells like stripper panties. It's disgusting. The meat is like taffy. I didn't even eat any of it. I promise you, ask anyone on my season, I did not eat any of it. It was disgusting. But nevertheless, we took the shell off and we had to separate the parts and the heart is still beating and it's warm. And I mean, it was so graphic. I am not kidding. For the next 8 days, all Dan would say is I'm waking up with nightmares. He gave confessional after confessional about it, none of which they could air because they couldn't air the actual raping of this turtle. So
the thing was probably like 190 years
easily.
old.
And it was like an African artifact at that point, and I had defiled it, and it was glorious, and it was probably one of my favorite memories on the show. That being said,
monster.
Yes, much like Eileen Wuornos. But it was when I saw Ty bitching about killing 2 seconds to kill a chicken, and he's crying and shaking. I was like, oh no. That really, I'm with Randy. I'm kind of anti-Ty at this point.
I'm mortified. I mean, this turtle thing. I'm so freaked out.
And
Turtles are like magical beings. You don't kill a turtle.
Well, you know what? You kill what you got to kill. I'm telling you right now, we won nonstop challenges. I mean, we had more protein and meat than you knew what to do with. I mean, I didn't because I wouldn't eat it, but I run on nothing. You know that. I run on vodka and regret.
And hate.
Yeah. But the best part is they named the episode title, which would have been so much better. They call it The Circle of Life, and we all know that's not what Ty said. He said The Circle of Rife, and that's what it should have been called. And
the episode titles have been
terrible. Who's
With the
picking
exception
these?
of episode 1, where we had I'm a Mental Giant. There's been some
not good.
really questionable episode titles here. Circle of Rife would have been much better.
And actually accurate. And then I like that he says, after he kills it, he looks down and he says, I did wrong. Very, very wrong. Which I think that sounded like my nail lady when she uses the wrong nail polish. We don't have that audio. Really, of all the audio we have, we don't have I did wrong. I did very, very wrong.
Well, I will make sure we add that in post. But wait. On the topic of horrific animal slaughter, we had a similar situation worlds apart that I actually heard about secondhand because it was like the day after I was voted out. They waited until they voted me out to eat the chicken.
Oh, that was nice of them.
It was very nice of them. But well, I mean, listen, you're not going to feed your enemy. I understand. They couldn't kill the chicken though.
Why? Who doesn't know how to kill a chicken?
Well,
I'm the jappiest girl I know, and I can kill a chicken. You swing it like this with the neck.
Yeah, I think that they tried to do that. They couldn't do it. The machete, Joey Amazing broke the machete at the No Collar Tribe, and they never got a new one.
Where were they going to get the... I'm sorry. Were you going to return it to the store? Where were you getting a new one? Well, you break the machete, that's it.
Let's talk about
You said
production.
they never get a new one.
Well, you can break stuff.
No.
Yes, you
no,
can.
No, you can't. We broke everything. We broke the mask.
Okay.
We broke the fishing gear.
They
never brought anything.
Our hatchet. And I broke it in a way that I demonstrated to them how dangerous it was that we still had this hatchet where the blade would fly off in the middle of a swing.
Oh, that is.
And I said, watch, guys. And I showed them. They took it and they fixed it. They drove a nail in it, bent the nail over so it would no longer break.
Well, that's a straight up liability issue.
Okay, so the machete was the same thing. The machete was extremely dangerous. Joe broke it. Joe tried to make a fake handle for it. Then he went off to Escamecca to the other camp. I'm there. I'm left with that. Vince hid their hatchet because he was angry at Joe. So they did not even have a functional machete. So they're trying to kill the bird after I left.
By the way,
couldn't.
Just for everyone listening that knows how you kill a chicken, you don't need any of that.
Well,
you swing it from its neck.
Haley couldn't do it. Shireen couldn't do it. So what they ended up doing, they choked it.
Oh,
they choked the chicken.
You know what you could have also done is just drowned it.
They squeezed its throat. They
like one of those dolls.
Oh,
that's not good.
So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that you don't see with the castaways being unnecessarily cruel to animals.
Right, because we're desperate and, desperate times.
Desperate and stupid.
Very.
Incompetent for the most part.
I feel like I'm not, and I would kill. I mean,
I
love the feeling
clearly you had a hard
life
time with
leaving
that.
your hands. You know how many relationships I've killed?
So it's very, very wrong.
Very. He did wrong. He's very, very wrong. We cut to Anna. Which
listen.
Does she have double stick tape? Her tits
didn't-
are. I mean, I know. I don't even have to ask all the viewers that are straight, not my gays, who saw this episode. You remember exactly what I'm talking about. Her buff is coming down. I said no more of this.
I'm sorry. I get to play it when we talk about Anna.
Her buff is coming down. It's like it's right above the nip line, and it's just lingering there. And she's having a conversation that they had to get on tape. Who is she talking to? Nick? No, Caleb. No, it's Caleb. It's the big Caleb convo. So she's trying to bring Caleb in.
Yeah.
Okay, and she's standing there with like. I'm talking marginal, maybe a hair above the nip, and it's just hovering there. And no matter what she's saying to Caleb, ain't nobody listening.
No,
because she's I don't know where those tickle bitties came from, but they're there.
So Anna's halfway undressed.
Yeah,
Anna's like just like
she's
about dripping.
She's
off
in the
of
beginning of Ozzy's porn.
She's.
I'm a deep guy.
She is halfway naked. Meanwhile, Beast Mode Cowboy, has he taken his jeans off?
So this is interesting. So I until he gets the bathing suit for the challenge, he has not been seen even shirtless. I mean, he's basically completely clothed like a fucking Quaker for the entire time.
And we talked about this last time. He wore his jeans in
water challenge. Okay. Well, so I am not going to sell out who I asked this to, but I did ask a cast member who would know, like, hey, I honestly couldn't grasp why this kept happening. And I was told that he felt it was out of respect for his girlfriend that he not be in his underwear. And let me just back it up. Let me say that I have now mended fences with Caleb. So I don't want to piss him off. And I'm not going to make any comments about how ridiculous that is. I am just going to say that I am glad they got bathing suits, because I wanted to see his calves. I don't understand.
What would you be flattered if your boyfriend did something as considerate as that for you, or would you think?
Are you kidding? I am actually completely in the Caleb camp. I would like to keep my boyfriend in a large adult-sized cage. He shouldn't have any friends. I want to disconnect his phone number. I want him to be completely isolated. He has to depend on me for food, alcohol, conversation. I would be very appreciative. However, that is crazy, and that's why I'm single.
Corinne, why you married?
Thank you.
We now
Thanks,
have
Jack.
the answer, Jack. If you're listening, we now
that's
know why Corinne is not married.
I have an ex. I actually said that to him once. I used to call him my Dolly, and I was like, Dolly needs to go in a cage, and he's like, Dolly doesn't want to go in a cage. Like, he was a 6'6" Olympian, and he was like, yes. I told him I want to build a life-size cage, and then I told him there was a corner of my bedroom that I called his man cave, which was just like where his hockey sticks went, and I was like, you go stand in your man cage. I'm having people over. You stay over there.
And you would,
I would set up his laptop. Yeah, and I was like, you sit over there.
A bowl of water.
I was sure that anybody else who figured out how hot and amazing he was going to steal him, and I couldn't take it.
And
so
do you think that's what maybe Caleb's girlfriend's doing?
Yeah, I mean, well, no, I think Caleb's doing this of his own volition.
Oh, yeah.
But I think that as a girlfriend, I would really appreciate it. That being said, that's definitely why I'm single. So don't go. I mean, I don't think you should have a guys' night. I tell that to people all the time. Like, oh, the boys are going out. Well, I drink, I hang out, I curse. Let's go out. There is no such. You don't get any alone time. There's no me time.
Just sit there and look pretty.
How's that working out for you?
Not well.
Okay.
Not well. Now I'm buying drinks for dudes and telling them I was on Survivor, and I still can't get laid. So don't kids at home. I am nobody's role model. That is for shit sure.
I imagine him in the bedroom all alone while you're hanging out with your friends, looking at Charlie McCarthy and saying, how did we get into this?
Yeah.
And how do we get out of here? Like planning a fucking jailbreak with the ventriloquist.
I mean, he moved in with me and promptly started planning his exit strategy. It wasn't good.
Yeah. So Caleb fully dressed. Anna, I'm sorry.
Anna is just, she can't help but look like a porn star in every scene.
Yeah.
Really, every scene.
It's really something to behold. There's someone we don't see very much of though, and that's Nick.
Oh, I every single time you say that, I forget he exists on this season.
It's just it's strange.
What's your take on that? Because maybe he goes really far.
Douche.
Maybe
Who's saying it though?
It's just when you say Nick, it just plays. That's not even.
I just wish that was Debbie, but it's not.
Nick, who I can't tell if he is masterfully playing the douche or if he actually is one, is not really getting much of an edit. And it's unfortunate because...
Well, that's why I think he might last long.
You think it's... I think it's just because 22 minutes of every episode has to be about Ty.
Yeah.
9 minutes about Debbie, and that leaves
I know,
what,
that's
like
what I'm
8
saying.
minutes for the rest
He's
of the
got very
episode.
little left.
Yes. Yes.
I think that Nick is he seems so disinterested, and like, so I don't remember this well enough to say it, but I said something to Charlie once, like when we were out there, and I was like, I go, Charlie.
The ventriloquist dummy or
no,
Charlie?
my char bear.
Okay.
Charlie Herschel from my first season. I looked at him at some point in the game and I said, Charlie, it's not that I think I'm better than everyone else. It's just that I'm better than everyone else. And he's like, he starts wailing, crying. Like, he's like, you did not just say that. And we were just talking to each other. And he's like, and he goes, Corinne, you have to stop. It's written all over you that you think you're better than everyone else. You have to stop. So I took his advice and I tried, but like I couldn't, because I am better than Sugar. You know, like I'm better than Kenny. I'm better than Crystal. I'm better than Maddie. I can confidently say these things, but like Charlie was just like, you have to hide it better. Nick is not hiding it at all, and he's disinterested, and he knows he's better. I mean, or he thinks he's better, right? I'm getting that.
Yeah, but the thing is, we're not even seeing him.
Right. Well,
so again, is it because
he's like above it?
We'll
he's
get
like
to
not
him
even
later,
interested.
Or is it because he's a non-factor and he's gone soon? He's gone the first time they go to tribal council. Who's going home first from that tribe? It's got to be Nick.
Well, that's what Anna's gunning
solid.
for, but I don't know. If Ty has the idol, they're going to try and flesh the idol out, and they all suspect he has it. So they're going to do one of those split vote shenanigans.
Well,
right? They have to.
I mean, Nick is at the very least, it's not working out well for him with the edit. We'll see how it turns out.
And also, can I get more shirtless Nick shots? Why are you wearing that freaking American Apparel shirt?
The beauty, I just want to point out here, folks, Tyler Frederickson, the person who was put on the job to rein me in with the sound
is
clips,
now pushing buttons.
He's pushing buttons. Yeah, the Beauty Tribe, strangely, they're wearing more clothes than anyone else.
Yeah, stop wearing clothes, Beauty. We didn't hire you to be clothed. It's ridiculous. Let's talk about, since we're talking about idol, Alecia digging for the idol.
Ooh.
Let's get into that, please.
Yes.
So you find a clue. Here's what you do. You shove that in your underwear and you keep it moving.
Yeah.
Why she has to call over Sydney, who had no idea what was going on, and be like, clue, I found a clue.
That's the stupidest thing I think I've ever heard.
Yes, thank you, Alecia. You're all by yourself. There are 3 people against you. You've just had the second tribal council where you escaped certain doom by someone else's horrible misstep, and you tell someone else you've got the idol clue.
I couldn't believe she did that. And it just leads me to believe there's a lot we're not seeing of Sydney actually forming the bond with her.
Yeah, Sydney is actually playing her masterfully.
Well, thank you for actually playing the game, because we've seen very little of Storm, and now I appreciate
and
seeing
even
it.
less of Rebecca or Rachel or whoever the hell it is. Yeah, she's doing a great job. The only thing I wonder is Jason runs such a tight ship over there that even talking to Alecia could result in Sydney
beheading.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about, let's roll back. Let's talk a little bit about the tribe dynamic at Brains at and after that last tribal council, because you and I apparently, quote unquote, got it wrong. We found out from reading some of the internet feedback that we got it wrong when we said that Jason and Scott were going in different directions on that vote, as evinced by the fact that Scott did not vote for Jenny.
So I want to point out, just before we get into all that I am not willing to watch all the exit interviews, read all the tweets, like go on blogs and go on these like websites. I am going just off the episode. So don't come at me with shit that you know because you watched extra shit. Like,
well, you didn't see Jenny's Periscope at 3 a.m.
Come on, dude.
Mountain
Like,
time,
I'm just watching the episode and giving you my opinion. So my opinion was, it seemed very clear that there was a break in the alliance, that somebody voted like they weren't supposed to. And that's all I knew. Now, I reached out to Jason after the fact and asked him, and I got clarity on this. And as it turns out, they were completely in agreement. Jason said that he knew that he felt morally compelled to not write her name down. So Scott was going to write, Alecia and not Jenny. And Jason was like, that's fine. Like, you're ingratiating yourself to someone who's not sitting on the jury. So I don't give a fuck. And he's right.
Yeah. We put the question out there, and Scott was nice enough to get back to us on Twitter. I said, please clarify, did Kyle and Scott split votes for a potential idol, or were they not on the same page? And Scott replied almost instantaneously, first tribal council split on purpose on Darnell, then voted out Darnell second. Second tribal council couldn't stop Jenny's boot kept promise.
Yeah. See, I mean, I think that that's, first of all, nothing you'd know from watching the episode. They lead you down the path of thinking that something is very wrong with, probably my favorite alliance. I've started referring to them as T-Swift and Selena. And what, do you have a sound effect for that? Why are you fumbling?
No, I'm not. I'm just switching back from Twitter to the soundboard. No, but I wanted to know who's T-Swift.
Which one's which?
Yeah.
So I feel like because T-Swift is the more popular one, it's Jason, because I love Jason. And then Selena is Scott. So heretofore, they should be known as T-Swift and Selena.
Okay, or the Wonder Twins too, Scott.
Yeah.
Because let's talk a little bit about the Wonder Twins and the potential of them activating. We have another shared idol situation here.
Dude, that is just bananas. So we were talking, we skipped right over the hoe talk. So now she's telling her, get the hoe. I mean, the way they're saying this with straight faces, it's like unbelievable to me because I couldn't possibly have hoe talk like that.
When do you get a hoe on Survivor though?
That's what I'm wondering. By the way, where did you get the hoe?
Other than Gabon and Heroes versus Villains, where do you get a hoe on Survivor?
Exactly. Other than Sugar, where are you getting a hoe? But my question to you is, how the fuck are you all misplacing the tools constantly? You have, first of all, you have tools. None of us had those. And now where are said tools? How have you lost all of the tools? It's unbelievable. So we now see the craziest thing I've ever seen happen, which is the just straight up like war for the idol.
But didn't that happen in your season too? Wasn't there like a whole thing with Andrea and Malcolm and Eric Reichenbach and all that?
I don't know. I didn't watch it after I was voted out. But I can tell you from my first season, there was a scramble when we saw at the merge, which happens at the merge feast. And then we were all like, let's throw it into the ocean. So Marcus throws it into the ocean and then Marcus gets voted out, which is what happens when you fuck with the idol. It's like bad juju.
Yeah. But you don't need the tool though to find the idol when you have a 6'11" former NBA basketball player. I mean, Scott could just reach up and tip and get the fucking key out.
I feel like, so one of the things that really bothered me about that scene is that you see that they did tie sticks together and they are working. And you see immediately, like Scott is doing all of the work and Jason's like waiting on the other end. And like, it reminded me of after the Patriots lost the Super Bowl, somebody asked Giselle like what happened. And she's like, my husband cannot catch and throw the ball. And that's all I kept thinking when I saw Scott. Like, he can't poke it out and also catch it, which means Jason gets it, which is really kind of unfair.
Well, that's here. If you're the coach, what do? Do you have the tall guy tipping it out and the short, vicious bounty hunter scrambling for the rebound, or vice versa? Because Scott could just catch it before it comes down from, from 8 feet in the air.
Right.
But, if it's going down, I don't care what your dad does, boxing promoter.
No, you're not getting it. And he was, I was scared that he was going to actually manhandle her, and he didn't, thankfully. He really didn't. Like, she's fine, it seems. But like, I was thinking, if there is a scramble, like, if that thing goes on the floor and the two of them are close enough, they're going to dive, and he's just going to check her.
I've been skydiving. It's extremely hard for me to keep my mouth shut.
She's going up against not just any bounty hunter, but potentially the best bounty hunter in Southeast Michigan.
Yeah. Which I spoke to him about this, and he said it is the highest crime rate city in like all of America. And that the most interesting thing of all would be if someone were to follow him. Like if they had 24-hour, like if he had his own reality show, which I'm a huge advocate for, his life is so interesting because shit is so off the wall crazy out there that I'm sure none of us could imagine. I mean, I certainly can't, living in my Crystal Palace over here.
See, I have the opposite reaction. I want to make him stop doing that job, because now whenever he tweets out a video of him going out with his bulletproof vest and his energy drinks and his cigarettes and his hair ties, I'm like, this dude is kicking down a door, and the guy on the other side of
it's a high risk job.
Might be balls deep in a hooker, might be holding a shotgun.
Right.
Like, I'm worried about Jason now.
Max,
not that he can't take care of himself, but it's a fucking scary world out there.
I have 3 words for you. Embrace the suck.
I can embrace the suck.
So,
you have no choice.
I mean, and by the way, I did contact Mike Holloway and try and hook them up to make t-shirts. So we're hoping that Sweet Tea Designs, is that what they call it? Whatever. I'm not promoting it. We're not getting paid. He has a t-shirt. Boy. So he has a t-shirt company, and I was like, hey, you should definitely get with Jason and make t-shirts that say either hair ties and energy drinks are a lifestyle, or embrace the suck. This kid is full of sound bites. You can find one to put on a goddamn t-shirt.
Yeah.
So
they're the best.
I just want to take credit for that ahead of when it happens, because y'all gonna be wanting to buy the t-shirts. I am.
Definitely. I'd wear that. they get the idol. Not much of a question. You don't really wonder about.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. But let's listen to Scott read the idol clue and talk about the new idol twist for this season, because it's something interesting. And as someone who quote unquote shared an idol, I think it'd be interesting to hear your thoughts on this, Corinne.
There's a twist. If you pair one immunity idol with another, they fit together to form one super idol. The super idol can be played together after the votes have been read. Yin and yang. If we get the other one, then it's like, they can vote us out all they want. Oh, Wonder Twin powers activated. Guess we're sticking around. Idle time, baby.
Yeah. So I have some stuff to say on that, because I didn't know the first person that touches it is the owner of the idol. Like I didn't get it. Just so you know.
Is that an official rule?
Yeah, it is. And so as viewers at home probably don't know this, we don't get a rule book. So you just have to go on what you've seen. And if you hadn't seen a season or an episode where this happens, you wouldn't know. So I didn't. So I thought when you find an idol together, it's like a shared idol. Why can't it be a shared idol? Why can't we share? So I see a tree and I see what I think to be a really good spot. And I took Malcolm to go look for it because I wanted to be aligned with Malcolm. And I thought that would kind of like link us together. And I was scared to have an idol and have all that pressure on myself. And I thought if I share this pressure with somebody else, that's better. So I said to him, like, let's go look together and let's share the idol. And we were totally in agreement. We start looking, he's looking under rocks. I look on this path on the left and I see a tree. I look in and I see something sort of in the tree, but there's a ton of water and like bugs and gross stuff. So I was like, I don't want to put my hand in there. You put your hand in there. So he puts his hand in and he grabs it out, and then we freak out and we got the idol. However, because he put his hand in and I didn't, even though I'm the one that saw it and found it, immediately it's his. Now, I didn't know that. So we decided to bury it together. We know where it's buried. Before every tribal, we'd have a conversation of whether we unbury it and bring it or not. But in reality, it was never mine.
So you can't just take it because there is a rule that you can't take someone else's idol.
So so what they did was, and this is more production talk, which I'm sure CBS would hate, but they put us on lockdown and separated us really early on the night of tribal, the night I went home. And what happened was I was unable to tell him that I started to panic, that I thought something was wrong, and that he needed to dig up the idol. And we were at this point already isolated, couldn't talk to each other, and I was no longer able to go dig it up. And even if I had dug it up, it wouldn't have had any value because apparently it wasn't mine.
Yeah.
So it's kind of one of those things that I don't think that Scott is fully aware of, or maybe he is. I mean, Jason put it on his neck. See, we didn't have that moment. Like Malcolm didn't put it on. Malcolm wasn't like, it's mine.
You didn't do the tie.
We
Let me
buried
try this
it
on for a moment.
No, we didn't do the fashion show. We buried it together and we said, okay, like you let me know when you need it. I'll let you know when I need it. Like this is where it's located. End of story. Don't tell anyone.
Yeah.
Done.
What about this double idol yin and yang Wonder Twins activate twist? What do you make of this?
Oh, I don't think it's really going to happen. I mean, I think when somebody gets two idols, sure, but do you think people are going to... Nah. Come on. What are you going to take a survey? Like, hey, I'm not saying I have one, but if you have one, I might have one. Like, unless you're Alecia, who apparently says that even when she doesn't have one.
Or unless production says... Do you think Ty might have the idol? What do you think about making your Wonder Twins power activate?
That was something else I thought of, was that, their goal in putting a twist like that in isn't to not have it used.
Yeah, they're not letting that twist go unused.
No, of course not. So somebody, it's gonna have to happen.
If Jason and Ty are at the merge together, they're going to be encouraged a lot. They're going to be encouraged by production to hang out a lot and talk about potential plays.
Yeah. And I thought when I saw Jason fully, I have to tell you, like, I said this is the first moment I felt bad for Alecia, because she's the quirky on this tribe and everyone doesn't like her. Everyone's against her. She starts to realize this. And if I were her, I'd walk into the next. Yeah, that's really.
I've been face-to-face shark diving.
Sorry.
That's
quirky,
Yeah, she's very, something's not right there. But if I were her, I would walk into the next challenge and I would scream out to the other tribe, Jason just found an idol, guys. Jason and Scott are aligned and they found an idol. Because fuck them, and let the other tribes know that you're not aligned with them. Because here's the deal, you're going home, you don't have an idol, and if you go to tribal again, you're going home. If you don't and you merge, let it be public knowledge. Sell them the fuck out.
Although you'd be doing unwittingly the very thing we just talked about, alerting the other person who has the idol to the fact that you can make the super duper transformer idol.
Oh, wow. Okay, by the way, she doesn't, just for record here, she doesn't know about the twist, so she's not smart enough to have done that. Not said something because she knows about the twist. Let's not give her that credit.
So we feel bad for Alecia, mainly for me, because if she went for that idol, Jason would have put an elbow in her face.
Oh my God. He would have been kicked out of the game because he would have somehow, I mean, she's like a baby deer you pushed out onto an ice skating rink. I mean, she's barely standing on her two legs as it is. He would have knocked her down.
And at the end of the day.
Now, let's talk a little bit about the challenge, but before that, let's take a little break.
Yeah, because I'm out of Lefroy.
Yeah, let's do that. And let's check in with one of our friends.
Yeah, I'd love that.
All right, great. We'll be right back, guys.
I'm Oscar. I'm 24, and I'm a surfer. I hope to meet some really hot chicks and have a wild time with them, something I can remember when I'm an old geezer. I'm a deep guy. I would say I'm sensitive. Hello. All of the bathing suits come off and the toys come out, and one thing leads to another, and everyone's getting freaky with each other.
I told Oscar, why don't you just her because it's, there. So. Aren't you gonna take off your shorts, Paul?
I didn't know you do so well.
Perhaps a little more room here for the Fixins. You know what I'm talking about?
No, I have more hate than ever.
Peekaboo.
And we are back. Let's talk about that challenge.
Yeah, let's talk about the fact that there was no tree mail leading up into the challenge.
There has not been a lot of tree mail this season.
0, as far as I know.
Do you care? It sounds like you have an issue here.
I feel like that's one of the hallmarks of being on Survivor is getting to read the tree mail, and that's like quippy and kitschy and cute, and we're not getting any of it. And you know why? Because Ty spends 14 minutes every episode looking for an idol.
Peekaboo.
Oh God. Well, it's one of those things that for me, I could take it or leave it. I think that if there's more exciting stuff going on in an episode, more scheming, more striving, more people looking for idols, I'd rather watch that than see people read a bad pun. But in this case, it's not necessarily the case that we're getting more Survivor. We're getting more Ty.
Yeah, and that's not what I want. I also don't understand when they walk out into the challenge and then a bunch of people who have never met the tribe that's voted out looks utterly shocked. And they're like they're so upset Jenny went home, or they're so completely blown away by this.
Now, I take a little exception to this because I was one of those people. There was a very notable reaction shot of me where my mouth was blurred out for about 5 seconds where I think I said, I can't believe these motherfuckers didn't vote out the fat fuck who can't swim or the deaf bitch, but instead voted out the motherfucker with the feathers in his hair. And there was like the fuzz over my mouth for the entirety of the time.
And you're talking about
when Vince got voted out.
Yeah, I mean, that may be so, but you had no business having those feelings or emotions tied to him unless you have some karmic, otherworldly connection to him.
As we do.
In the usual circumstances, you have no reason to look that incredibly shocked.
Well, in this case, it doesn't really matter one way or the other because Brains shits the bed and Braun finally wins. Jenny or no Jenny, it seems like it didn't really matter.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about for just a minute here, the reward here. Okay, so their reward is now not called a luxury item. It's called an emotional item, and I'll tell you why that is. And it is because Jason, who's like the badass hitman of the season, has a green Care Bear Lucky Bear as his emotional item, and they pan directly to that. They, I think, for sure didn't care at all if that tribe ever wins it, if that's ever going anywhere. They just needed you to know that Jason had a Care Bear waiting for him.
Now, do you want me to tell you that you're wrong, or do you want me to let you to pretend that it was...
ignorance is bliss, so I don't know why you think I'd want to know I'm wrong, but by all means.
It's been an emotional item since at least as long as I've been involved in Survivor casting, and that goes back to your second season when we were asked to provide an emotional item. When I went through casting for season 26, I was asked to provide a quote-unquote emotional item, and I provided the tribe flag that my students made for the class that I taught on Survivor. It was a big bed sheet that they had all signed their names on, and they had painted a portrait of me in the middle of it, and it would have been both something that did have sentimental value and, of course, something
functional.
I could have used as a towel or a blanket or a pillow or something like that, or maybe if I were Beast Mode Cowboy, as a turban.
Yes, because he only does challenges with his long sleeve shirt tied around his head.
Yes.
I would have thought you'd submitted like an empty pill bottle, but that's fine. For my emotional item, if you will, it was not emotional. It was luxury. And I asked to clear a full length mirror, to which they scoffed at me like that's an absurd thing to bring, and you're going to have to bring that through the airports. They made this like a big deal. Then I turn around at the airport and I see Maddie has a surfboard. He cleared a surfboard as his luxury
He carried
item.
the surfboard with him. He knows the Gabon is landlocked,
They
right?
like he lives in this universe. I was told if you want to clear something like that, you're going to have to carry that all the way to Africa. Well, they don't say Africa, but you're going to have to carry that with you. And I was like, and what woman in this world wouldn't carry a mirror if given the opportunity? I would carry a full length mirror to the bar if that was an option, because I want to always know what I look like. But so I couldn't get that cleared. So instead, my best friends got together and they made me a small heart-shaped hand mirror, very small. On one side, it was engraved, and on the other side, it was a picture of them when you opened it. So that is what I cleared for both seasons. My luxury item was the same, and it was, I guess, emotional and luxury, but mostly it was just so I could see that I didn't have any acne problems.
I cleared house slippers.
Oh my God, Tyler. That's the creepiest thing.
Why?
Ever.
Because I don't own anything that's that important. And if it worked out, then I got new shoes and I could sleep in them at night and I could walk around and look like Macklemore.
Yeah, I mean,
nice.
You apparently are not a very sentimental guy, not one to be that concerned with memories of home. I mean, you didn't even wear your wedding ring.
Well,
that would have been ridiculous.
Well, I mean, we got Caleb. He's got to wear jeans because he would offend his girlfriend if people thought he was in any way, stepping out on her. And this guy takes his wedding ring off. He'd rather have slippers than a reminder of his sweet bride.
Although midway through our season, Sierra comes up to me after a big challenge. She goes, I lost my ring. It's somewhere in the dirt. I said, go tell production. Tell them to dig it up and find it. She's like, I don't really care that much. Mine was coming off, especially with the weight we were losing. No, hey, Max, you're an idiot.
Just sit there and look pretty.
Thank you, Tyler.
I want to talk about the fact that not only is Caleb doing the whole I'm not going to take my jeans off, but in addition to that, he somehow, like in the Jewish religion, we wear kippas or yarmulkes.
Mm-hmm.
He somehow always has his head covered in these challenges, and I don't understand how it stays on or why he's doing it. He takes that long sleeve shirt and he does a do-rag situation with it.
Yeah.
And I don't get it.
Well, there's a thing, you can be so Christian that you're like so observant that you're basically
that you went
Jewish.
over the edge and now you're back into
You're
the
back
Judaism.
Into being Judaism.
Oh,
So
that's
it could be
amazing.
something like that, or you could be so white that you actually come out the other side black. He is pushing things to extremes.
Yeah. I mean, he's breaking down doors, man.
But the performance by Caleb in the challenge, once again, it's a delight to watch him. Last week he's somersaulting, flipping, carrying logs. This week he's excelling at the challenge. He gets up there. He makes the Houses of the Holy puzzle board, which Tyler and I have a little bit of experience with. Makes it look really easy. And I can tell you, folks, that is not easy. This might be a good time to go against our better judgment and turn Tyler's mic back on. Tyler, you've tried that challenge. You know how hard it is. Talk a little bit about what it's like to do that challenge, not just to navigate that ball up that Swiss cheese board, but to do it after you've just run and climbed and jumped and hoisted and done all the other physical activities that have basically got you gassed.
I mean, Max, I'm an ex-professional athlete. I wasn't gassed by the end of that. Don't worry about that. I'm actually one of those guys who likes to invert my remote control when I play video games. Okay, so I can go
I thought
up
that
and
was
down
like a weird sex thing that you were
well,
talking about.
I had to pull it back. So when I play video games, it's back and forth with the invert. What's interesting about this Swiss cheese board is when you pull on the left handle, the ball goes and the whole contraption goes right. When you pull on the right, it goes left. It's very difficult. And obviously, I think their balance beam board was actually steeper than ours when I look back on the episode. But it was something I could not get. Joaquin wanted to go 3, 4, 5 times. It worked with his mind. It didn't work with mine. So I dropped the ball twice, turned to my boy, Maxie, get in. I'm out.
And I went in there not realizing that my game was on the line. I just thought we don't want to go to tribal council again, but I was pretty confident if we did, I would be fine.
You were going home.
Goes to show what I knew. But I got up there and it's both a mental and a physical challenge because you are balancing, you're exhausted, hot sun, humidity, and you're trying to invert your right and left hand. And so while we see Caleb making it look easy, a lot of the beauty tribe people making it look easy, when we see Debbie and Jason struggling against one another in that final round head to head, to me that's like PTSD. That brings the stress back. I know what that feeling is like, and I can only imagine what it felt like for Jason, knowing that they've been to tribal council now twice. You've got to win at this point. This is on you, or else your tribe is getting Matt singed.
Yeah, and I have to say that Jason had the balance of somebody who does yoga, and he most certainly does not.
They don't do yoga in Southeast Michigan?
I don't think so. And I was like, at some point during the challenge, I screamed out, like, God, that guy's a beast, to Caleb. And I thought, oh, well, all right. Okay. I see how he's got that nickname. Yeah. That's fair. That's fair.
So Jason pulls it out in the last minute with his back against the wall. And his reward
is the Care Bear, which I loved this so much. But I really felt like the only reason we got exposed to the green Care Bear at all, or the reason that an emotional item was used, was so that we could see the amazing dichotomy of this like hard ass hitman using that as his item, right? So I proceeded to, allow me to name drop like a government witness. I proceeded to text him and see what actually was the origin of this bear.
Why are you not more impressed?
Yeah, seriously, Corinne, with all the name drops this week, we should have a thud
You know,
sound
Gwyneth
effect.
Paltrow always told me not to. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so Jason actually hit me back and said, I got it for my oldest when I was in Iraq and found out my wife was pregnant. So Alina had played with it, and then Alina gave it to Chloe, and then they let me take it. So there's actually a really sweet story behind that bear. And I feel like CBS knows that. And I can only imagine that they wanted to give a confessional about it. Maybe we'll get it next episode. But there was no time when Ty is finding an idol.
Oh! Well, I don't want to one-up you, but I got a text from Neil this week.
You can't, because that's not better. But okay.
Well, has it had a little bit of information about you in there that you might want to know? Listen. We'll address that later. I think that the sexual tension between Corinne and Neil has reached what to me is a very uncomfortable.
The struggle is Neil.
Yes, the struggle for you to stop thinking about Neil.
I mean, I find Jason to be more of a panty melter than Neil.
Yeah, Jason carrying the green teddy bear, that worked for you?
And he carried it like, if I were to pick up a child, I would pick it up by the arm because I don't know any better. He picked up this Care Bear so carefully, like it was a tiny infant. And he cradled it in his massive tattooed arms.
Do your friends let you carry baby Jack?
Never.
No.
Never.
Good for
I'm
them.
not allowed ever to be alone with anyone's children, and not in the same way Uncle Larry isn't. It's because there is no way I'm not going to let the kid get injured or curse in front of the kid.
Oh, God.
Go in there, baby.
No, poor Uncle Larry. Well, actually, not really. Poor Neil, actually.
Poor Neil.
Well, when you lose a challenge,
now you have to deal with it.
You go to tribal.
You go to tribal. And before they go to tribal, they have that awkward couple of hours where they're trying to decide who's going home. And the brilliance of this is that everyone is confused as to who has the power here. And it apparently is Debbie.
Your
Which is
worst
gross.
nightmare.
Yeah.
Your server at Red Lobster
is also controlling the puppet strings to your fate. So Peter says, I'm going down the hit list and Neil is first. And that is the moment in which I know that Neil is here to stay.
Yeah.
He ain't going home because you don't air that particular soundbite if Neil's going home.
Well, let's listen to Peter talk about the plan.
Although Liz and I are good-looking people and we have great smiles, we're actually out for blood. Everyone else, they're like clay that we mold. They are indecisive unless given a decision. They need paternal direction, and I'm being that paternal person, providing them direction in the way I want them to vote. It's a great play.
If someone doesn't make me some sort of meme, gif, whatever you call those, of him as Demi Moore in Ghost shaping the pottery, I'm going to be real disappointed in all y'all.
Yeah, Peter really coming on strong there. He wants to be the daddy. He wants to tell everyone exactly what they're going to do. He wants to mold their minds.
Well, if that's not bad enough, Liz follows it up with, losing today was good for me and Peter. Maybe don't say that ever.
You didn't never get excited that you lost the opportunity to not only get rid of someone you didn't like, but also the opportunity to maybe get a little bit of, camera time with Jeff Probst?
Max did.
I mean, I feel like, yeah, but
we talked about this before. You got to lose the first challenge so that you can go to tribal. So you get
baby gets the camera time.
So for the premiere episode, you don't want to be forgotten.
No, you don't want to have that big premiere party and have like no lines.
Exactly. So at least lose the first challenge. You cut the fat, get rid of the person who no one can stand, and get a little camera time.
But by the same token, you don't want to be sitting at that premiere episode and then also
be
never
going
sitting
home.
in another episode. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that Neil puts his bow tie on for his confessionals and for tribal because he is a mama's fancy boy.
Yes, mommy's little fancy
Mommy's
boy.
little fancy boy.
The only thing that could be more perfect is if he had culottes, like a little Lord Fauntleroy outfit. Thank you.
Thank you, Alecia.
That was Alecia, but it could have also been mommy's little fancy boy.
Yeah.
Yes. So he's one of those people. Coach is another one who every time he comes to tribal, he's looking probably more fresh than he looked like on day one.
I'm confused as to how like Ty snuck out and dry cleaned the pants that Neil is wearing.
Yes.
He's very, if any of you watch Arrested Development, he's very Buster. Very.
I thought you were going to say Ty is very Anyang.
No, Ty is Anyang. Oh my God. This whole entire episode could just be an Arrested episode.
Anyang is your brother now.
Anyang.
No, Neil is Busty.
Oh boy.
And also, Aubrey, how many smocks do you own? Because I just realized that the smock you are wearing in your cast bio photo is not the same smock I am seeing you at now.
Maybe it's reversible?
Oh God, that's so scary to me.
Where do you get? I mean, I feel
you
like
get it in the shop that should be closed and burned down.
The question that we have both with Debbie, with Neil,
is how many Goodwill stores turned down the donation of these clothes that you've submitted?
Well, but we've already learned that Neil has his stuff custom made. Is it possible that she's sending off to Thailand to have someone custom make these smocks for her?
No, because if you have the money to custom make something, you have the money to tweeze your eyebrows, and she looks like Bert and Ernie. So I'm going with there's no way.
Oh, come on. You're being unnecessarily harsh. They're not that.
Her eyebrows are
American
so long.
Apparel model.
They're in constant conflict with her eyelashes.
Oh, yeah.
No, I don't know what she's doing. But she does look, honestly, look, I'm going to give it to Aubrey. She looks the best she's ever looked. Island Skinny looks good on her.
Yeah?
She has a fighting chance to be like practice squad, but not actual squad.
Well, and
never actual squad.
Now that Liz has gone home.
No, Liz is still squad.
Really?
Yeah. You know what? Here's the thing. I would put So Kim at the top of my list for squad goals, and she was voted out first, so I don't care when you're voted out. If you win the million, you might be useful for bottle service at some point for me in the future, but other than that, like everyone's kind of the same. If you don't win, you're a loser. All y'all are losers. So there's one winner and there's 17 losers in this season.
Yeah.
And I don't care what order. If you're pretty and you're smart, Liz, I'm looking at you. Welcome to the team.
Okay, very good, Liz.
Yeah.
There's a bright side to this very dark day.
That
a
is
consolation prize.
Incredible, right?
Yeah.
I should have she's had to wait a year for my approval. But listen, if you actually tweet at us photos, you don't have to wait a year. I can diss you automatically.
Yes.
Let's talk about Peter, who loves to start every sentence with, as an ER doctor.
Actually, funny you should bring that up. We've got a sound.
Absolutely. As an ER doctor, social interaction is what I'm a professional in.
Now, when I heard that, it rang a bell. I couldn't figure out what it was initially, but it reminded me of something. And I did a little research and poking around. I remembered it was something from my season, from the premiere episode, and it was...
As a coconut vendor, I seek truth. I'm a seer of real.
There's something equally frivolous and ridiculous about Peter saying that as an ER doctor, his job is social interaction, as Vince is in saying that as a coconut vendor, his job is to seek truth.
Like, if I come to the ER, because I have tuberculosis, which I feel like I should have noticed before.
I think that's the least likely
I should
thing
have
that
had
you're
like a
gonna
pulmonologist look at that first, but whatever. I get to the ER. I'm not trying to connect with you on social media. Like, I diagnose my problem, run some tests, and let's be done with that.
Yeah, and I get the sense that he's one of those doctors that the nurses, when they apologize to the patient's families, they say, "Oh, don't mind Dr. Peter. He's a little brusque. He's the doctor they say is brusque. He doesn't have the warm bedside manner." I mean, he probably compensates a lot by the fact that he looks like the sitting president. But other than that, I feel like he does a little more of the not looking at the patient, looks at the nurse, or looks at the chart.
Or carries a hand mirror like I did.
Or carries the hand mirror.
And just looks at himself.
Obama is a long-legged Mac Daddy.
Yeah.
And you know what, Peter? more power to you. You don't have to.
No.
You don't have to look at the peons you're treating. You don't have to look at Debbie. You don't have to pay any attention to her because you're smarter than her, you're richer than her, you're hotter than her, you're fitter than her. You should be making the decisions.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Is that to me or to Debbie or to him?
That was Debbie to Obama.
Okay. Thank you.
Just sit there and look pretty.
Okay, so Peter is going into tribal council with a head full of steam, thinking he's got it all figured out. He and Liz are happy they lost. They're going to work their plan, and the plan is to
apparently
get rid
to
of,
blow to blow your spot up at tribal.
Well, but they are going in with this misconception that they've got numbers and that they are going to work with the olds to split up a vote over
the geriatric
Aubrey,
block
the
is not
geriatric
voting with them.
But they're going after Neil, but they're afraid Neil's got the idol, so they're going to split and they're going to vote for Aubrey.
Yeah, I mean, this whole thing was really just weird and scary.
Which aspect of it?
I felt Peter looks at Neil and says, well, it's not your plan. And I in that moment, I'm like, oh God.
I kind of liked that.
But like, you don't come to tribal to put all your cards on the table. It's just such a bad look.
I kind of like the constant one-upsmanship between Neil and Peter, both in the game and on social media.
Well, Neil doesn't respond. He just responds with a smirk.
Well, yeah, I think Neil had 3 words in this episode and 36 smirks. He's communicating primarily through smirks in this episode. But there's a great dynamic between these two guys if you follow them on Twitter. Like, Peter will post a picture of himself in business class and Neil will respond with a photo of himself in first class. They go back and forth with one-upsmanship.
And then Scott Pollard just flies private.
I've been face-to-face shark diving in Australia.
Yes. None of them can compete with Alicia's accomplishments.
None.
But, these two guys, they definitely have a healthy rivalry. And to see them going head-to-head in tribal council and Peter to just kind of lay it right out there and say, well, hey, Neil, it's not your plan that we're going to do. It's going to be my plan. I thought there was something about that was kind of ballsy and delicious because at that moment, keep in mind, he thinks he has it. He thinks he's got it. And how many times in Peter's life has he not gotten his way? In his mind, in his history, everything leads to that moment with Neil going home and him looking, at the camera afterwards, rubbing his hands together.
He can't even hold back his excitement for
Listen,
his
I know that
moment.
feeling. When I met Peter, I went home that night. I met him before.
And Mom, I have a really good feeling about this.
I said, I went on Twitter and I wrote, I just met the black me.
Why are you not more impressed?
Because I saw in him something so similar to my worldview and attitude and sense of self. And sure enough, here he is playing just like me with this total sense of everybody is clearly going to see things through my superior viewpoint. Mm-hmm. I've got my number one girl who's going to go along with me no matter what. And all these other people, the Carolyns, the Tylers, are just going to see that I have better sense than they do. And they're going to fall in line behind me. And clearly didn't work out for me. And it's not working out for Peter. And the charge against him, arrogant. What does arrogant typically mean when someone like Debbie says it? It means you're smarter than me, you're hotter than me, you're richer than me,
I'm jealous of
more
you,
powerful than me, and I'm jealous of you.
Yeah.
And in a game like Survivor, you have a great instance of a situation where people who are like a Susie, like a Kenny, like a Sugar, can get their revenge against the sort of people who otherwise cut past them in the TSA pre-check line.
Yeah, of course. Like they fly. Like they have enough money to fly.
Southwest is having a sale.
Greyhound is having a sale, friend. You get your bag lunch and you sit on your Greyhound bus with your carry-on luggage and maybe your Chihuahua.
Oh, that was way harsh, Ty.
It was, but it was warranted.
So we have this kind of meltdown at tribal council where Peter tells Neil it's not your plan and Neil smirks. They go to the vote. And then I love they have to revote, and Jeff turns to Joe, who, barely, he's the oldest person by 25 years. I'm talking older than all of the interns they have holding boom mics and cameras. And he says, would you mind, please get your rickety ass up off the stump that we put you on.
would you mind, Joe, going to place the urn?
We need to move with a purpose, Joe.
Yes.
Well, that's what you say when Joe takes 15 minutes to get up.
That's like your grandpa realizing he hasn't taken his diabetes medication, and you say, hey, while you're up, can you fix me a sandwich?
Do you have some maple syrup? Yeah. Can you funnel that to me? I don't know what this all this garbage is and all this wasted time. But now they get up and they revote, and Liz goes home, and Liz immediately looks over and says, "Good luck, everyone."
Well, that's the you want to.
3 words I've never met in my life, and she definitely doesn't mean.
No, you don't think she's.
She meant go fuck yourself. Those were the 3 words she meant to say.
But you're trying not to look like a quote unquote sore loser in that moment.
Okay, here's the thing. Stop trying. Stop trying. Just say what you mean and mean what you say. When she got up, she should have just flicked off everyone but Peter and then told Peter, I'd like you to stick it in later. I'll see you in the pre-jury trip. That's what she meant to say.
Fuck you.
Yes, exactly.
Fuck you.
Is that me? Because it sounds like me.
Fuck you.
No, it's not. It could be.
It could easily be me. So like let's hear what fans have to say.
We're going to go to some of the questions from the fans, from the voicemail, from Facebook and Twitter, after these messages.
Hold on a second. Yeah.
Greg talks into a coconut and thinks it's a phone.
We're sorry, you have reached a number that has been
So why don't we just call Jeff up right now on the Jeff phone and go, hey Jeff, we're ready to vote somebody off today.
Recording an error, please check the number and try your call again.
All right, we are back. And it's time for your questions. We're going to go to the voicemail. First up, we have a fan who wants to know a little bit about Neil the Ice Cream Man.
Hey, Max and Corinne. This is Miriam, a.k.a. Bader Girl. Huge fan of you guys. I really love your podcast. Who is the most dateable of this season, does Corinne think?
Ooh, it's directed at me.
Neil the Ice Cream Man. I hear you guys are possibly getting married, and I think that would be a great couple. Or is it Scott Pollard, who's already married, or Jason, Sarge, Kyle, who's again already married, or is it that handsome feller Nick? What do you think of him? Anyways, I love you guys. I love everything you guys have to say, and keep up good work. And Black Cats and Kale for life.
Oh, yeah.
May the force be with you. Bye.
Very good.
Wow. Okay. Lots to address here. If all things were equal, if everyone was single, which we know they are not because most of their wives have tweeted at me at this point, so it's getting quite uncomfortable.
They've marked their territory.
Yep. I got a sweet picture of Jason with his wife that said, "My goalie is a bad bitch, so you can't score."
Ooh.
And Dawn Pollard, who seems lovely, also tweeted at me saying, like, back the fuck up. So that being said, if they were all single, I mean, obviously I'd go for Scott. He's a millionaire NBA player. That's always what I'd air for.
Hey, he's charming.
He's like 6'10". Yeah, that's easy. If all things were not equal and I had to go for somebody that was single and it was between, I don't know, Neil, Peter, and who are we left with? Oh, Nick. Never Nick. That's never.
Douche.
He's not, I don't think he's douchey. He's just like unemployed.
Douche.
I don't want to like have to pay for your shit forever. Like we're going to come home and play Uno and you're going to drink my wine.
Douche.
I'm not into it. I'm going straight for Dr. Pete.
Obama! All right. There you go.
Yeah.
The most eligible bachelor, Survivor Kaoh Rong. Let's go to our next question. 954 area code.
That's my
Hey, Corinne, this is Dad.
Oh, no.
I know you're doing the show tonight. Listen, cut with the F-bombs. Enough of that stuff. Clean it up. Bye.
Aw, Daddy. So my dad he has told me this on multiple occasions. The reason I'm single is because I, curse like a sailor. So he would like me to not do that.
It's the cursing and not the impulse to lock up your boyfriend in a corner of your room?
Dolly gets in its cage. Yeah. So my dad thinks that the core of my problems lie within my language
your mouth.
Corinne, where's your married?
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So we are going to go to a Twitter question now. Tyler, what do we got?
This is from Chaotic Pluto. Question: where do you see Peter's game going from here? Will he need to rely on a tribe swap, etc.?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
there's no. I mean, unless he gets like real frisky with Aubrey, maybe.
Oof, you think?
Yeah, I mean, she's looking kind of better.
Well, I mean, now that Liz is gone, Aubrey just moved up to the #1 spot, and who you want to cuddle with in the shelter?
Right, because it's just Debbie or Cookie Dough. So
yeah, I mean, well, think about it. You've got that smock actually probably creates a little bit of extra warmth, or you're looking at.
Well, I'll tell you this much: you don't have to use a condom with Debbie because
we need to move with a purpose, Joe.
I don't know. Peter, what are you going to do, man?
I don't know. Okay, let's go to another question. Voicemail.
Hi, Max and Corinne. This is Casey. On this past episode of Survivor, we got to see Debbie kind of take the bulls by the horn and eliminate Liz pretty craftily. And since you guys like to talk about fighting, and we all know how much Corinne loves the UFC, my question is, who would win in a fist fight, Liz or Debbie? Thanks.
Okay, that's Casey.
Yeah.
Who's going to be conducting your Reddit AMA tomorrow.
I'm so excited. She's coming to my apartment at 4:30. I hope she's not crazy. She's really pretty. I don't know if she can type, but she's supposed to be my court reporter for this. I just think she's so pretty, and she's possibly my new protege.
Yeah,
I have room in my life to mentor. It's the big sister program of America.
It is. You got the twin turns, you got her, you got Liz, you got even Aubrey.
I have a lot on my plate. I'm not taking on Aubrey. That's somebody who has a lot more time.
Just sit there and look pretty.
Casey actually was my intern. She worked for my company for a summer, the summer I went and played Survivor. So I can vouch for her. She's very smart. She can type. I think you guys will have a lot of fun together. Hopefully everyone who is listening to this has already has already read Corinne's AMA on the Survivor subreddit, reddit.com/r/survivor.
I didn't know any of that, but okay. I'm gonna say that for sure Debbie could grapple. And I think that a lot of I just think that she would be better at it. She actually has who is she against? I forgot already. What is she asking me?
It's been a long night, folks.
It's Debbie versus Liz.
Versus Liz.
Yeah. Oh, versus Liz, right. No, I take Debbie in that one. For sure. She's scrappy. She looks like remember that cartoon Ren and Stimpy? She looks like Ren.
Oof. Okay, so we've got
Stimpy, you idiot.
Next caller, we have a question from a listener in the Twin Cities, Minneapolis.
Oh, between Anna's breasts?
St. Paul. Thank you.
Hey, yeah, what up? My name is Carl. Thinking about going into surgery. Currently a second-year biology student. Just a question about Corinne. Are those boobs 330s or 300s? Saline or silicone? All right, thanks.
That is very astute. It sounds a whole lot like Peter.
Yeah, very, very insightful for a second-year undergrad pre-med.
That's somebody who must have gone to University of Florida and seen a lot of fake boobs in his life.
Yeah.
Mine are saline. I'd like to get them switched out at some point, and they are both a little over 300 cc's. So
very good.
Right
good
on the
eye.
money there. Good eye. You should go into plastics, or are you not smart enough for that?
Absolutely. As an ER doctor, social interaction is what I'm a professional in.
Yes.
Yeah, totally. And that voice sounds eerily similar.
Okay, we've got another Twitter question. Tyler, fire it up.
From @SurvivorStick, if Alecia makes a swap/merge, would she tell everyone about Jason's idol? Is she too much of a risk to keep her around?
Because it's just a stick.
I know.
Does Alecia spill the beans? We talked a little bit about the possibility of people coming together to make that Voltron idol or that Wonder Twin idol work. That might backfire for her if she were to try to call out Jason and let everybody know that he does have an idol. But then again, do we even think she's savvy enough to have that inclination?
No, I mean, that's what I'm saying, that she should walk out and be like, fuck everybody, he's got an idol. But then the problem becomes, that he joins forces and the Wonder Twins unite. Do we think she's smart enough to do that? That's the question.
That's the stupidest thing I think I've ever heard.
Yeah, next question. Let's go back to the voicemail. We have a question here from Eric Lavalle.
Hi, Max. Hi, Corinne. This is Eric Lavalle.
I love hearing my name.
Before the season, Dr. Pete took a little bit of flack for saying that the contestant that he was most like was Pete Yurkowski, because Shirley, an ER doctor, couldn't possibly have anything in common with. whatever Pete Bro is. But it makes sense now, right? In fact, is it possible that Dr. Pete is even peatier than Pete Bro? This is a serious question.
They're competing.
Oof.
Ooh.
Is Dr. Peter more Pete than Pete?
I don't know enough about Pete, so I couldn't really speak to that.
You know who he's dating?
Yeah, the most bombastic character ever.
Well, you know all you need to know then.
Yeah, then
is Dr. Peter.
Case closed. So I would love, so Peter is, my understanding, is engaged, which sounds like there's still a chance for me.
Yurkowski?
No. Dr. Peter is
okay,
engaged.
we're getting confused.
And so I would like to know, since we know who Peter Yurkowski is dating, what kind of chick is Dr. Peter with?
That's a good question. I'd like
Is
to
she
know
a
a lot.
fiery Brazilian?
I would like to know a lot of the Neil's significant other.
He has a significant other?
A partner, a girlfriend.
Excuse me?
Yeah, well,
that girlfriend must be irritated by the amount of tweets I'm getting.
Oof. Well,
she should join some sort of regret group with Jay Byers' current girlfriend.
Oh.
There should be a Joy Luck Club involved here.
Well, or is she in the club with Jason's wife and Scott's wife?
Wow. I have a lot of...
This might be the first finale that you're not invited to
oh,
because
no,
of all
I've
the
never
wives.
been invited.
No,
I just
mean the
show
after
up.
party.
Oh,
please,
yeah, but...
Please, come home.
That's Corinne outside
Just begging.
outside the hotel
Outside.
at Universal City is at 3 a.m. outside of Jason's
I feel comfortable
window.
that I could throw a competing party and just invite the husbands and boyfriends and they would show up in my apartment.
Well, we'll have to try that come May at the end of the season.
Yeah. I'm saying I'll do that. Mark it on your calendar.
Invite Anna too.
No, because then how am I going to dominate this party? Anna, you can come in a burqa.
She can come in the burqa and Caleb can wear the turban. Yeah. Let's go to another question. We have a question here from, okay. Well, I don't know who it's from.
Scuba diver?
Hello?
Oh.
Can you hear me? I want to know who you think will win in a fight to the death if you say Obron from Kaoh and Obron from Kaoh Rong. Thank you. Also, I need some help on the side of the road.
Oh.
My tire
Okay.
blew out, and their car drive past me, and I cannot stop because I'm in the freeway. I'm in the middle of the freeway, and their car, a big semi-truck, so if you can please, you can come and help me. It will...
He sounds like he has the eyebrows of Aubrey. He sounds like a Russian who is so wrong and so strong.
Igor, that call cut off abruptly. After about 3 minutes, it felt like. It cut off kind of abruptly with Igor saying he's on the side of the highway with semi-trucks bearing down on him. I'm a little worried. Igor, please tweet me if you're still alive. I would not want anything to happen to
He's
you.
talking about his comet. Igor, I would like to invite him to come in person. Do we have enough microphones in this dinky ass podcast?
I think
Igor,
we could take Tyler's
Love
away.
to meet, Igor. Love to meet.
The answer to his question, who would win in a fight to the death, the Braun tribe from the first Brains, Bronze Beauty versus the Braun tribe from this time. I'm going to go with the original Braun tribe. You have Sarah, who's like an MMA fighter in training. You have Tony, who's a badass cop. I mean, Jason clearly is a cold-blooded killer, but I think that the original Brains tribe.
I don't remember them. Sorry.
All right, never mind. Moving along, we have many more questions came in over the voicemail. Oh, we have one question from a member of Corinne's cast.
Mine?
This is Sugar Piper from Survivor Gabon with a question for Corinne.
Go fuck yourself.
I saw on Twitter you and Neil are getting married. Is it an open bar? Thanks.
Well, we're Jewish. It would always be an open bar. And also, what do you know about marriage, sweetheart? I guess a lot, because she's been married, I don't know, 4 times.
I think she's getting married again.
Or, yeah.
I think there was a Facebook invite.
I'm going to put a dollar bet on the fact that she did not have open bar. Or there was a lot of open bar involved before she got pregnant. during pregnancy.
All right, another question. This one from the great Wes Dorn.
Hey now, Max and Corinne, this is the one and only Wes Dorn. Great seeing you, Max, and it was awesome meeting you, Corinne, last week. Didn't know what to expect with Corinne, but I was pleasantly surprised.
Because I was so pretty.
Okay, on to my questions. Just two of them.
Just.
Do you think Liz and Peter thought by being placed on the Brains tribe, they'd act and talk like brainiacs? Or are what we're seeing from them their actual, real-life, obnoxious, egotistical, know-it-all personalities? Also, now that she is gone, what should we think of Liz's game? Overplayed and overconfident? Or never really had a solid alliance? Thanks, guys.
I really appreciate him using cue cards for this.
Preparation is important.
Yeah. Which is what I do before all podcasting. What do you think with the questions he asked? So Liz.
What's the final word on her game?
Not great.
Yeah. It didn't look great. Of course, we only saw what was necessary to show that she was going to go home and that it was justified.
Right.
Maybe she was great. Maybe she had relationships. Maybe she was in a great position and she went home because she had options and they wanted to take those options away.
In this case, we know a little bit more because Max actually ran into her this summer and she looked like she'd been hit by shrapnel.
Yeah.
And we then found out that apparently she was medevaced. She didn't get to go on the pre-jury trip, which means she didn't actually get to sleep with Peter, which is unfortunate. Although I have to say I don't know that Peter goes out. I'm just saying, if I were her, I'd be begging for Beggin-Stuss. Begging for Beggin-Stuss? Is that his last name? Beggin-Stuss?
Obama is a long-legged Mac Daddy.
You'd be hoping that he goes out next.
Obviously, and you're thinking he must go out soon.
Because there's a little bit inside that when you get voted out, you hope that your best friend in the game gets voted out next, especially if you're pre-jury. You want...
And you have to be alone with that person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yes, Liz revealed today to the world something that I've known for a little while, that after she left the game, she had to be sent home for medical emergency. And we actually have a clip courtesy of Carter Matt, an interview that Liz conducted earlier today, where she explains exactly what happened.
Did you have any injuries that you brought home with you? Any cuts or bruises? Any worms in your ear? Anything like that?
I had rather nasty staph infection, and a few days after I was voted out, they sent me to the hospital in Phnom Penh. I had like all the infected staph tissue cut out, my shoulder, my back, my armpit, my knee. I had these like big gaping holes, like 4 inches down to the muscle. And then after a few days there, they sent me back to the States. Actually, I didn't even get to go on the pre-jury trip.
That's really gnarly, man. That's no joke. And I'm wondering, like, you have those intense staph infections. So what are they doing going forward to treat the rest of the cast who probably have the same wounds, right, festering in their bodies?
Yeah. We heard right before Second Chance vote reveal that there was an epidemic of nasty staph infections going on in Cambodia, not only affecting the cast for Brains, Bronze, Beauty, but also affecting the production, and that production members were being medevaced due to these terrible flesh-destroying infections. Now, when I met Liz this summer, it happened to be at a pool party, and she was wearing a bathing suit. And it must have been not too long after she had had that operation or another plastic surgery operation, because there were like big chunks of her body that looked like they were missing freshly.
Anytime you have to see a plastic surgeon for an injury, that is very serious, right? I mean, that's requiring a second specialist to come in because the injuries are deforming.
Yeah. And I mean, it could have been that the first doctor she saw was an expert in social interaction as opposed to medicine.
Or it was just a rando in Cambodia.
Yeah, the level of medical care that you receive while on Survivor is a little inconsistent.
Yeah.
Just rub a little hand sanitizer on it. You'll be all right, mate.
Yeah, so we when we were on my season, everything was just, you put the beef on it, you boil the beef, and then you put the beef on it. I don't do a very good Australian accent.
What was that accent?
It wasn't great. That is the solution to everything.
Let's just stick with your Asian accent.
So I just make myself another tool for mistake.
Okay.
I make myself another tool for mistake. The circle of life.
Yes, and Tyler's referring to on Worlds Apart, we had an Australian doctor, sweet guy, really nice, but I think he was like a Survivor super fan who like forged some medical credentials in order to get on the show, because every time I came into the medical tent, he wanted to ask me like, oh, Max, do you remember that episode from Heroes versus Villains? When
Can I sniff your underwear?
No, but and then it would be time to go into the challenge. He'd be like, "You're okay, right? You're fine, right?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, actually, I haven't taken a shit in 10 days, and I've got this cut." And he's like, "I don't know. See you next time, mate." So you're not necessarily feeling like you're in the greatest of hands when you're out there.
No, and something important to note is that when they check you out, every single tribal, every single challenge, they will look at you post, and they will do like a very head-to-toe assessment, which basically involves, you feel good? They look up, they look down, great, next. And you can easily hide your problems, which is what most of us do because we don't want to get medevac because it's the easiest way to lose $1 million.
I'm one of those people who always like sympathy, so I'm more like along the lines of like, I've got this cut, can you at least make me feel like I'm special by looking at it?
Jesus.
No?
Not me.
All right. Okay. Let's go to another caller. This is actually from Joe from SurvivorShade.com.
Max, Corinne, this is Joe from SurvivorShade.com. Just had a few things I wanted to share. A wise man once said, "Some people without brains do a whole lot of talking, don't they?" That was, of course, the Scarecrow from Wizard of Oz. Peter would be best served to remember that, seeing as how it's too late for Liz. Also, guys, please tell me how the fuck Jason gets to keep the idol. How exactly does the hidden immunity idol finder rules work? Didn't realize that you're allowed to push women over to get the idol nowadays. Love to hear your thoughts, comments, and just like to say, everybody, please check out my site, SurvivorShade.com. This week's special guest is Randy Bailey. Thank you, guys. Peace out.
I feel a lot less special finding out that Randy is on like every fan blog and
listen,
podcast.
Survivor Shade is all I'm happy for them, but I'm going to have a talking to Randy.
Yeah, Randy, we got an exclusivity thing here. You don't do anyone else for 90 days after you do Survivor ATF.
Yeah, this is some bullshit. Also, I want to just point out that like Jason is not Ray Rice. Like he didn't like knock the bitch out and then drag her off the elevator. Like he was appropriately getting the idol, and he wasn't rough with her. So let's not make it like he was.
Well, it's an idol. It's you're listen.
It is life and death in the game.
People sometimes say, "Oh, how dare that guy take that girl down in that co-ed challenge?" Listen, you're playing Survivor here.
Then don't put a co-ed. That's what I'm saying. Like you don't put us all in the octagon. Then
you got knocked the fuck out, buddy.
The other question, Joe, perhaps unsurprisingly for the gayest blog in the Survivor universe, had a Wizard of Oz reference, and we actually made a very similar comment earlier about how Debbie is a little bit of the Scarecrow. I think he was saying Peter was the Scarecrow. You were saying Debbie looks like the Scarecrow.
Yeah, I'm saying Peter said basically she got no brain in her game, and I'm saying Debbie just looks like the Scarecrow. There's not a whole lot more to say on that.
Yeah, I think we covered that. All right, last question goes to Mark Anthony Nunez Salcedo from the Facebook page.
I'm sorry, how many last names does this gentleman get?
It's Latins, they do that.
At least put the emphasis on the Mark Anthony Nunez Salcedo.
Of course you're that guy.
You should have stopped at Mark Anthony, and people could have thought that Jennifer Lopez's ex tweeted at us.
Really enjoying the podcast so far, you guys. I wanted to ask if you guys see any similarities between Sugar and Alecia.
No.
No?
No.
Just no?
Just no, because
Why?
I don't think that Alecia is unpleasant to be around. I think that she's probably like a nice, cool girl. Like if she was in my sorority, I don't know, she could sit at, not my table, but like the table next to mine. Like she's pleasant. Sugar, I would want to like light myself on fire if I had to spend more than 5 seconds with her in any kind of confined quarters. Sugar is so much worse, and not even, there are other levels. They're not even a little bit similar.
Well, so
at all.
You sit with Sugar, you hear her, I would assume she's crying a lot about her dad.
She's talking about herself. She's crying. There's something about her that is, I can't explain it. It's like a mosquito bite you can't scratch. Like she's just awful.
But with Alecia, you're going to have to hear a lot about...
Flicker.
I've been face to face base shark diving in Australia. I've been skydiving.
You know what, Max? At the end of the
I've
day,
been with 3 giant uncaged tigers in Thailand.
at the end of the day, I'd rather sit next to Alecia than Sugar.
That's the stupidest thing I think I've ever heard.
Hey, to each her own.
As much fun as I make of Alecia, I don't think she's 1/18 of the whore that Sugar is.
Oh, Neil. All right. Well, I think
Mama's fancy boy.
let's get to work on something for Mama's fancy boy for next week. I see that as being a nice recurring theme throughout the rest of the season, or at least for as long as Neil is around. Okay, folks. So that brings us to the end of our episode. Before we go, let's just recap and talk about. Sorry. I want to remember.
Listen, guys, it's the end of the episode, and I think that we all want to remind you that you can reach us at any time on our Facebook or our Twitter or our newly set up hotline, Max.
607-AT-FIXIN, FIXIN. Call us, leave us a voicemail. We will play it on the air. Make your voice heard. In addition, please get your entries in for the Survivor Crashers contest. A video, no more than 1 minute, of you talking about why we should come watch Survivor with you, showing us your place, and telling us exactly what kind of rape we're in for if we do come.
And you can send us photos, just don't heavily filter them. I just want to see what we're dealing with. I want to know, I have a dust mite allergy. If, it doesn't look like you have had your place cleaned recently. I need to see all of these things.
I don't eat at chain restaurants, so to me that's a big issue. That's a big sticking point. So we got a lot of criteria. It's not going to be an easy barrier to get over, but you should at least try.
And also, I think, Max, did we point this out earlier? It doesn't matter where you live.
No.
We'll judge you. So we're not going to come to your place if you're in North Kakalaka, but I don't know. We'll still judge you. I'll still tell you your place is a dump.
Yeah,
So
please.
send the photos in. It's fun for us, man.
All locations will be equally judged. Just get those into us soon because we want to start making our decision about where we're going to go and watch in
I want to
April.
see, I hope somebody submits something with a one of those satanic stars on the wall.
Oh, I bet Jason has one of those on his wall at home.
Maybe.
We
he has
to
a
mention,
good luck Care Bear.
We did rule out that he is a juggalo. We know conclusively. Jason,
he's not a juggalo.
Not a juggalo.
But he's he has fun with it.
Okay, well, we got Survivor Price is Right coming up on Monday. Look for us on your TVs, sitting in the way back as seat fillers as Joe basks in a little more glory. And anything you would like to plug, Tyler?
No.
Just sit there and look pretty.
Okay, thanks for that. Well then, on behalf of my co-host Corinne Kaplan and the entire On the Block podcasting network, Tyler Frederickson, I am Max Dawson. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week, guys.
Later.
You're welcome.
Fuck you!
I'm a deep guy.
You clean those fixes up right now.
You're a big boy. From now on, you gotta clean up your own fixes.
I wonder if there's any surf right now.